Okay, the first thing you need to do is you go to config.ironcorelabs.com. And if you don't have an account, you want to create one. You'll need to fill out all of your information, plus you'll want to use a sign-up token that IronCore has provided to you for the purpose. As soon as you create an account, you'll get an account recovery token. It's super important that you download and save this off, probably in a password manager. We're using end-to-end encryption here, and with that in place, it means that you have keys that we don't have access to that will allow you to see the configurations that we can't see. Super important you keep that. Okay, when you first log in, you'll have a dashboard. There's not that much going on, but there is a banner reminding you that you should add more than one admin. Again, this is for organizational resiliency because you have end-to-end encryption here, and we can't recover your information. At least IronCore cannot. So invite another admin, and then it'll get rid of that nag. And then as a vendor, as a SaaS application provider, you'll want to add tenants probably. And by adding tenants in this case, I generally mean inviting tenants, but you can also create tenants and give them default configurations. So if you invite a tenant, you just go through, you fill out the form, you give an email address, and it'll send an invite. If you don't want to send them an invite, you send it to anything else you want. Now what the customer sees, what the tenant sees, is an email, and the email looks something like this, and it's an invite and says get started, and has a special link crafted inside there for when they click on it. Note that you can customize this yourself and white label this email as well as the entire experience. So they'll go through a very similar process. The difference is that essentially they have a code that's included in the URL, so they don't have to type anything extra special in, but otherwise they're just filling in their details. They create an account. They also get an account recovery token. Similarly, they should download this. Now, there is a way for you to help them recover if they screw this up, you being the vendor, but IronCore cannot. Okay, so just like with vendors, they're in config.ironcorelabs.com, and they're being nagged about adding extra admins. So similarly to with vendors, this is for organizational resilience. If someone were to leave or whatever, you have at least 2 admins. You're going to be in a reasonably okay state to continue to administer your keys. So the main thing for a tenant to do is to go in and add a KMS configuration. Right now the options are Amazon, Google, or Microsoft. And when you go in, it prompts for a whole bunch of information. Now, that information is sort of cryptic if you're not familiar with it, and that's why we have this Need Help button. Need Help allows you to go through sort of a guided thing with screenshots of where to go, what to select, and so forth to either set up or else at least find the information that's needed. So for each of these different systems, it can be a little bit of a maze to figure this out. This just helps people through it. Once that's done, it basically fills in the form again, allows you to review and then encrypt and save. Now, encrypt and save means it actually encrypts it in the browser before sending it to IronCore. IronCore does not have any ability to see any of that data that the tenant just input. And then it has to be made a primary configuration for it to be used for new items that are being encrypted. Okay, then finally, there's a login configuration so that customers can decide that they want to see how their data is being accessed, encrypts and decrypts in particular. Also, if the vendor decides to, they can feed other security events through. This can then be fed directly into SIEM systems, security incident event management and stuff to watch for anomalies or whatever. So in this case, the options are Stackdriver and Splunk. You pick one, you put in information about it, set it up. Once again, it's encrypted before it's sent to IronCore. And then it prompts you and says, now that you have a login configuration, go to the KMS config page and you can enable key leasing. Key leasing is super important. It greatly reduces the costs because it won't, your key management server, your KMS in Amazon or wherever won't have to get hit as much, and they charge you for every time you get hit. So turning on key leasing is a big cost savings. And that's it. Thank you for your time.